Welcome to Speaklearn English. Listen, repeat, speak naturally.
You know the word, you understand the sentence, you can even translate it perfectly in your head, but then someone asks you a simple question in English and suddenly nothing.
You know what you want to say, but your brain starts searching for the words.
Exactly. And while I'm searching, the other person is waiting. And that's the moment when many English learners think, my English is bad. But is that really the problem? Not always. Sometimes your English isn't the problem, your habit of translating is. So you're saying, I can know enough English but still struggle to speak. Absolutely. And that's what we're going to change today. Okay, but how? By doing something that sounds simple but feels surprisingly difficult. What's that? Stop translating. That sounds easy. Try it for 5 minutes and then tell me it's easy. Fair enough. Calm. Think about what happens when someone asks you, what did you do yesterday? I might first think in my own language, yesterday I went to work, then I met my friend, and then I translate it into English. And that takes time. Yes. Now imagine you don't translate. You simply connect the question with an English answer you already know. I went to work. Then I met my friend. So I'm not building the sentence from another language. Right, you're building a direct connection between the idea and English. That sounds different. It is different. And this is one of the biggest changes you can make if you want to speak English more naturally. Curious. But how do you actually practice that? Worm. Start with your everyday life. Confused. What do you mean? Practical. Look around you. Don't describe everything in your first language and translate it. Look at something and think in simple English. Curious. Give me an example. Calm. You're sitting in a room. You see a cup. Simple. This is my cup. Encouraging. Good. You see your phone. Simple. My phone is on the table. Worm. You feel tired. Natural. I'm tired today. Excited. Exactly. No translation. No complicated grammar. Just the idea and the English sentence. Thoughtful. But those sentences are very easy, confident. And that's the point. Confused. Why? Clear. Because fluency doesn't begin with complicated English. It begins with making simple English automatic, thoughtful. So if I can't quickly say, I'm tired, learning a more difficult phrase won't solve the real problem. Confident. Exactly. You need speed and comfort with the language you already know. Curious. Okay, but what about conversations? Worm. Let's imagine one. Energetic. All right, friendly. I ask you, what are you doing this weekend? Hesitant. My brain says, wait, weekend, what do I want to do? Playful. And now you're translating. Amused. Yes. Encouraging. Instead, answer with the first simple English idea that comes to you. Calm. I'm going to stay home. I want to watch a movie. Perfect. Curious. What if I want to say something more complicated, thoughtful? Simplify it. Surprised. Simplify it? Yes. This is something many learners don't realize. When native speakers don't know a word, they explain the idea another way. So, if I don't know the word exhausted, I can say very tired, excited, exactly, thoughtful. If I don't know delicious, I can say really good, encouraging. Yes. If I don't know crowded, I can say there were a lot of people. Now you're thinking like a speaker instead of a translator. That's actually a big difference. Gentle. It is. Speaking isn't about finding the perfect word every time. It's about keeping the conversation moving. Curious. So should I stop caring about mistakes? Thoughtful. Not completely. Mistakes matter, but fear of mistakes can become a bigger problem than the mistakes themselves. Concerned. That's true. Sometimes I know what to say, but I don't say it because I'm afraid I'll say it incorrectly. Empathetic. And then you stay silent, quiet. Exactly. Encouraging. But imagine making one small grammar mistake and continuing the conversation. Curious. For example, natural. Someone asks, where did you go yesterday? Hesitant. I go to the mall yesterday. Gentle. The grammar is wrong. Embarrassed. I knew it. Playful. But I still understand you. Right, now compare that with saying nothing because you're trying to remember the perfect tense. Reflective. Saying something is better than saying nothing. Worm. Exactly. You can improve accuracy while you practice speaking. You don't have to wait until your English is perfect. Curious. I think another problem is that I practice English by reading. Interested. Reading is useful, but reading and speaking are different skills. Thoughtful. When I read, I recognize the words. Clear. But when you speak, you have to produce them. Surprised. So recognition isn't the same as speaking ability. Confident. That's one of the most important things to understand. Curious. Then what should I do every day? Energetic. Try a 5-minute speaking routine. Interested. 5 minutes? Worm. Yes, that's all you need to start. Curious. What's the routine? Clear. Minute 1. Describe what you see. Simple. I'm sitting at my desk. My laptop is in front of me. There's a bottle of water beside me. Encouraging. Good. Minute 2. Describe what you're doing. Natural. I'm working on my English. I'm drinking coffee. I'm checking my notes. Confident. Minute 3. Talk about your past. Thoughtful. Yesterday I went to work. I came home late. I watched a movie. Worm. Minute 4. Talk about your future. Hopeful. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to study English. Excited. And minute 5. Playful. Let me guess. Talk about my feelings. Amused. Exactly. Reflective. I'm a little tired, but I'm happy because I'm improving. Worm. See? You just spoke for several minutes without translating every sentence. Surprised. And the sentences were simple. Confident. Simple is good. Thoughtful. But what if I get stuck? Calm. Don't stop immediately. Use a bridge phrase. Curious. Like what? Practical. Let me think. How can I say this? What I mean is, it's hard to explain, but surprised. Those phrases buy me time. Exactly. They keep you inside the conversation. Thoughtful. So instead of going silent, I can say, let me think. Worm. Yes. And notice something important. Curious. What? Confident. You're still speaking English. Reflective. Even when I'm thinking. Gentle. Especially when you're thinking. Amused. That's interesting. Here's another challenge. Pick an ordinary object near you and speak about it for 30 seconds. Playful. 30 seconds about one object. Laughing. Yes. Choose your phone. Energetic. Okay, this is my phone. I use it every day. I use it for messages, videos, music, and work. Sometimes I spend too much time on it. Excited. Great. Surprised. That was easier than I expected. Worm. Because you didn't need a complicated topic. Reflective. I just talked about something I already know. Confident. And that's the secret. Don't always practice English with difficult topics. Practice English with your real life. Thoughtful. My breakfast, my job, my family, my plans, my problems. Encouraging. Exactly. Curious. So if I'm learning English at home, I don't need to wait for someone to practice with me. Confident. No, you can start alone. Surprised. That's good news. Worm. You can talk to yourself, you can describe your actions, you can answer imaginary questions, you can even retell a short story you watched. Curious. But won't that feel strange? Playful. At first, yes. Amused. Great. Laughing. But feeling strange for 5 minutes is better than staying silent for another year. Reflective. That's a strong point. Gentle. Think back to the beginning. You said the problem was knowing the words but not being able to speak quickly. Right. Confident. The solution isn't to translate faster. Surprised. It's to translate less. Worm. Exactly. Hopeful. And how do I translate less? Clear. Use simple English, think in short English phrases, speak every day, and when you don't know a word, explain the idea another way. Reflective. So I don't need perfect English to start speaking. Encouraging. You need the courage to use the English you already have. Calm. I like that. Worm. Then here's your challenge for today. Curious. I'm listening. Energetic. Set a timer for 5 minutes. No dictionary, no translator, no writing. Just speak. About what? Playful. Your day. What you did, what you're doing, what you want to do, and how you feel. Confident. And if I make mistakes, gentle. Keep going. Thoughtful. If I forget a word, encouraging. Explain it another way. Hopeful. If I get nervous, worm. Speak slowly. Reflective. And if I want to translate, confident. Pause, take a breath, then find a simpler English sentence. Calm. 5 minutes a day. Worm. 5 minutes a day. Thoughtful. I think the goal isn't to speak perfect English tomorrow. Gentle. No. Hopeful. It's to make English feel more natural every day. Confident. Now you're thinking like a speaker. Encouraging. So don't wait until you feel ready. Energetic. Speak first, improve as you go. Worm. And maybe the next time someone asks you a simple question in English, you won't search for a translation. Hopeful. You'll simply answer in English. Worm. That's where real progress begins.